I suddenly noticed smoke rising from the abandoned town again. I carefully approached to check it out, never expecting to find a woman standing on the rooftop. I quickly told her I meant no harm, just that I'd been drawn over by the smoke. After explaining everything, she invited me inside. I learned she'd only been here for less than a week. Since she grew up at a camping ground from childhood, she was able to use these skills to survive in the post-apocalyptic world. Not only did she have plenty of fresh meat daily, she even had some snacks to spice up life. After getting to know each other, I invited Lucy to come to my place, but I quickly discovered the food that had been perfectly fine before I left was now completely trashed. We initially thought it was just a few rats, having no idea that danger in the apocalypse was quietly closing in. Over the next few days, I was in charge of fishing by the river, while Lucy used her experience to gather food in the wild. Soon, with our hard work, life had new hope again. The two of us slowly began to fall in love. Before long, new life in the apocalypse quietly came to us. But this news that should have been exciting, I just couldn't feel happy about. I really couldn't imagine what the outcome of the child's birth would be.
No hospitals, no doctors, no safety net.
But seeing Lucy's determination, I could only reluctantly accept it, so to welcome the coming child, I first went to the library to learn. Then, I searched and brought back all the food from the surrounding area. But since electricity had long been cut off in the apocalypse, food storage became the biggest problem. So I thought of thermal power generation. I quickly installed solar panels on the roof. Soon after storing energy, we both lived with electricity again. So, just when I was about to store food, Lucy handed me a shoebox. That's when I found out the rats around us had become increasingly rampant. Their size had also become terrifyingly large, and at this time on the streets, tens of thousands of rats had already filled the town. Soon, my stored supplies became their target. To prevent these rats from rushing into our house, I quickly burned the household garbage, while also throwing fresh meat into the fire. But we soon discovered the number of rats kept growing. We had no choice but to run back to the cabin to avoid danger, to not give the rats any opportunity. We also sealed the doors and windows completely with tape. But then I suddenly realized, in the panic, I had forgotten the dog outside. I quickly ran to remove the tape and struggled to bring Lucky back inside. But just as we were closing the door, many rats had already snuck in. I quickly grabbed a bat and chased them around. It took all night to finally clear out all the rats in the house. However, after experiencing all this, I became increasingly nervous about the child's birth, terrified that one mistake would kill Lucy. Soon it was the second year after the apocalypse. During this year, due to the appearance of wild cats, the rats in town were completely eliminated. And at this time, Lucy's labor finally arrived. The shortage of medicine made childbirth extremely difficult. The scene before me made me extremely anxious. Inadvertently, I remembered the scene from 2 years ago, when the plague came and I lost my parents. At this moment, I was terrified this pain would come again. Fortunately, the nightmare didn't repeat itself. After much effort, Lucy finally successfully gave birth to the child. Perhaps it was the arrival of new life that gave us both different ideas. We walked into the town and wrote our address in the most visible spot, hoping more survivors could gather together.